Before we speak of love, consider these questions quietly. Have you noticed yourself thinking about someone you were not trying to remember, not with longing or pain, but with a calm, unfamiliar clarity? Have you felt a strange emotional quiet recently, as if the urgency to search, wait, or hope has softened on its own, even though nothing external has changed? Or have you sensed that your idea of love itself is changing, that what once attracted you no longer feels aligned, and that emotional chaos has become strangely uninteresting? If any one of these questions touched something within you, it is not coincidence, and it is not imagination. We are the Pleiadians. We work with the emotional field of the human heart, not to bring love into your life, but to restore coherence within the field that receives it. Love does not walk into a fragmented heart. It enters when the inner state becomes consistent, clear, and no longer divided. Nothing is being forced toward you. No person is being summoned. No promise is being made. What is occurring is internal. Your emotional field is reorganizing. Old patterns of attachment, emotional tension, and unconscious waiting are losing their hold not through effort, but through understanding. This message exists to explain why clarity is forming, why emotional noise is dissolving, and why your reality is becoming capable of reflecting a different kind of love. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is dramatic. Only alignment. For a long time, love did not enter your life, not because it was absent, but because your emotional field was occupied. Occupied by waiting, occupied by effort, occupied by silent tension. When the heart is constantly scanning, hoping, adjusting, it sends mixed signals into reality. One part wants connection, another part remains guarded, and reality responds with inconsistency. This is not a personal failure. It is a state. We observe this often. When the heart is divided, love approaches, but does not stay. It circles the field, but does not step fully into it. What changes is not the other person. What changes is coherence. As the emotional field quiets, as the need to search dissolves, space is created, not outwardly, but inwardly. This is why love begins to walk into reality, only when the heart stops leaning forward. Before we continue, we ask you to anchor this moment consciously. In the comments, write this sentence. Exactly. My heart is no longer searching. It is ready to receive. Writing brings the inner state into conscious awareness. It translates a felt recognition into a clear internal position. When you write this, you are defining your emotional posture, not as someone waiting, but as someone available. This creates coherence between what you feel, what you acknowledge, and what your field communicates. And coherence is what allows reality to respond without distortion. This prepares the field for what can enter naturally. There are signs that appear quietly when the emotional field is being prepared. They do not announce themselves. They do not demand attention. They settle in slowly, often unnoticed at first. You may realize that emotional intensity no longer attracts you the way it once did. Conversations that once felt magnetic now feel repetitive. Emotional highs feel loud rather than meaningful. What once felt exciting now feels draining. This is not indifference. It is discernment. Another sign is a growing emotional stillness, not emptiness, not numbness, but a grounded calm where reactions no longer rush forward. You may notice that you pause more, before responding, that silence feels safer than explaining, that you no longer feel the urge to fill emotional gaps with words. You may also notice a shift in how you relate to the past. Memories may surface without pulling you backward. People may cross your mind without stirring longing or regret. They are seen clearly, then released naturally. This happens when emotional ties are no longer charged with unresolved tension. Another sign is the loss of urgency. The need to search, to wait, to anticipate softens on its own. You are not trying to arrive anywhere. You are simply present where you are. You may also find that you are less willing to negotiate your boundaries, less inclined to justify your needs, your rhythm, or your inner changes. This is not withdrawal. It is self-respect, becoming silent and stable. As clarity increases, you begin to recognize patterns in others more quickly, not with judgment, not with superiority, but with calm recognition. You see where conversations will lead before they arrive there, and because of that, you choose differently, without effort. When these signs appear together, they indicate a single shift. The emotional field is no longer oriented toward seeking. It is oriented toward receiving. This is how preparation unfolds, not through becoming more, not through chasing transformation, but through coherence, settling in. As the emotional field becomes coherent, it also becomes more selective. Not everything is allowed to enter it anymore. This is where our function of protection becomes active. We do not interfere with choice. We do not direct outcomes. We stabilize the field so that what is incompatible cannot attach itself. When the heart is no longer divided, connections that once felt familiar begin to feel intrusive, not because they are wrong, but because they no longer match the field you are holding. This is protection. You may notice that certain people lose access to you naturally. Conversations shorten. Emotional hooks dissolve. The need to explain disappears. Nothing dramatic happens. Distance forms without conflict. This is how protection works when it is aligned. At the same time, the field becomes more visible to what is compatible, not louder, not more intense, clearer. Coherent fields recognize each other without pursuit. Before we continue, we ask you to mark this recognition. In the comments, write this sentence: "My field is protected. Only what aligns may enter." This writing reinforces the boundary that is already forming. It helps the nervous system register safety without vigilance. And when safety is present, the heart remains open without exposure. This is how protection supports love, not by controlling reality, but by keeping the field undistorted. Love does not enter your reality through intensity. It does not arrive as urgency, obsession, or emotional acceleration. Those are signs of misalignment, not arrival. When love walks into reality, it feels unexpectedly calm, not flat, not dull, calm, in a way that does not ask to be proven. You may notice that there is no need to impress, no impulse to rush intimacy, no pressure to secure certainty. Connection forms without effort. Words come easily, but silence feels just as natural. There is recognition before attachment, presence before expectation. You do not feel pulled forward. You feel met. This is because aligned love does not activate old survival patterns. It does not awaken the need to monitor, interpret, or anticipate. Instead, it stabilizes the nervous system. You remain yourself while connection grows. Another sign is simplicity. The connection does not need explanation. You do not rehearse conversations. You do not replay interactions. You live them. Love enters reality when it no longer needs your imagination to sustain it. It exists in what is happening, not in what might happen. And because of that, it changes reality without effort, not by transforming everything at once, but by quietly rearranging what matters. This is how love enters, not as disruption, as coherence, recognized. Nothing you have heard is meant to create anticipation. Nothing here is meant to accelerate time. What has been described is not something arriving later. It is something already reorganizing within you. Alignment does not feel dramatic, feels steady, feels like the absence of inner argument. When the field becomes coherent, you stop negotiating with your own state. You no longer ask whether something will happen. You simply remain available without leaning forward. If love is meant to enter your reality, it will not interrupt your life. It will not demand rearrangement. It will integrate without friction. You will not feel compelled to abandon yourself to maintain connection. You will feel more present, more grounded, more intact within it. This is how you recognize readiness. There is no emotional bargaining, no silent fear of loss, no urgency disguised as excitement. There is ease, there is choice, there is a quiet confidence that does not need reassurance. This is not about attracting, it is about staying coherent when something meaningful appears, because what enters a coherent field does not need to be monitored, interpreted, or controlled. It meets you where you already stand, and it recognizes you as you are. Before we close, we invite you to consciously mark this state. In the comments, write this sentence: I remain coherent. I allow love to meet me where I am. Writing affirms continuity. It brings the internal posture into conscious awareness. It helps the nervous system register safety without vigilance. This keeps the heart open without exposure. Nothing else is required. Nothing needs to be added. Alignment completes itself when it is allowed to remain. We are the Pleiadians. Our role is not to promise outcomes. Our role is to support coherence until reality can respond without distortion. And when it does, it arrives quietly, clearly, and naturally.